Hello everybody, my name is Matthew and welcome to Learn the Lingo. This is the 5th video in our series in which we are learning how to read Hebrew. Last time we looked at the letter Vav, and today we'll start with a little more information about it and then learn 2 new letters and 1 very special pronunciation marker. A couple videos ago, we learned that a letter Hey at the beginning of a word has a meaning, the. The letter Vav at the beginning of a word also has a meaning. It means and. The letter Vav meaning and can be pronounced in several ways depending on the letters surrounding it. One of the ways it can be pronounced is Va, and you can spell that with either a patak or a kamatz. So that's Va. It can also be pronounced Ve with a sigol. It can also be pronounced as an U sound with a shuruk. Remember that the shuruk takes away the v consonant sound of the vav and replaces it with the u vowel sound. This is an exception to the general rule that Hebrew words don't start with vowels. Even words that sound like they start with vowels, like av, actually start with a silent letter. One more way the letter Vav, as the word and can be pronounced, uses a new pronunciation marker called a Shva. The Shva is 2 dots under a letter, one on top of the other. The Shva is a pretty complicated marker, so today we're going to introduce ourselves to it, and later in the series we're going to keep saying it in different words to see how it's used. The word Shva in Hebrew has a Shva itself, and also a letter we haven't seen before, which says sh. What Shva does is end a syllable. If a Shva is under a letter, that letter will be the last letter in its syllable. If this letter is also the first letter of a syllable, then it's the only letter in its syllable. And between that syllable and the next syllable, the Shva makes a little sound, as in the word Shva itself. It's not so much a vowel sound, but just a little sound that joins the syllables together. Shva. The Hebrew name Avram has 2 syllables, Av and Ram. Under the bait of the first syllable is a Shva. This Shva is under the second letter of a syllable, and when a Shva is under the second letter of a syllable, the Shva goes silent and makes no sound whatsoever. This Shva is only here because in general every letter must have some sort of pronunciation marker on it. Alright, so when we have a Vav and a Shva, the sound they make is just V, and we can attach this onto the beginning of a word to mean and. Today we're just going to learn one word with Shva, and we'll see lots later during the course. To learn this word, we're going to also need to know one more Hebrew letter, which is called Zayin. Zayin makes the Z sound. We'll start this word with a letter Zayin, which says Z. Under the Zayin, we will put a Shva, which means that this syllable is over and just says Z. Then, moving to the left, remember, we will add a beit without dagesh, a vav with a dot in the middle, and one more beit without dagesh. Let's think about how this last part is pronounced. Remember that a dot in a vav could either be a dagesh, which means the vav has a v consonant sound, or the dot could be a shuruk, which means the vav has an u vowel sound. We see that under the beit before the vav and under the vav itself, there are no other vowel markers, which means that this dot needs to be a vowel marker because we can't have all these consonants grouped together with no vowels between them. So this dot is a shuruk, and this vav says u. So this last part is pronounced beit without dagesh, v, vav with a shuruk, u, and one more beit without dagesh, v. All together, Zayin, Shva, beit without dagesh, vav with shuruk, and aleph-bet without dagesh. Z, vu, u, v. Zevuv, which means fly. Let's end today with the 8th letter of the aleph-bet, which is Chet. This letter makes a sound we don't have in English, called a guttural, which is a kind of sound you make with your throat, a little bit like a raspy. In English letters, you'll sometimes see the Chet sound written as CH, but remember that it's pronounced and not ch, as in cheese. You may also see the Chet sound transliterated into English as an H with a dot under it. We'll use the CH when writing the sounds of the Hebrew words in English. Just remember it makes that guttural sound. It can take some practice to get that sound right, so let's learn a little word you can practice it with. This word is hag, which starts with a letter het, under which comes a patak, ah, and this word ends with a gimel, which says g, ah, g, hag, which means festival. In review, today we learned 2 new letters, Zayin, which says z, and Chet, which makes the guttural sound. We also learned the pronunciation marker Shva, which ends a syllable. If the Shva is under the second letter of a syllable, the Shva makes no sound. But if it is under the first letter of a syllable, it makes a little sound as between the z and vuv in Zevuv. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and turning on notifications so you can know when I make a new video. Also, I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a like and shared it with your friends who you think would like to learn Hebrew. Goodbye.